I love when you sleep on me. I like to wake 'em up. We gon' see. Big day ahead of us. Get out your bed, go get you some breakfast. Don't make excuses, just make it effortless. Comfortable out of my comfort zone. Cut off the ones who ain't want me on. Worry about something when nothing's wrong. Working for God till he want me home. I have no fear of destruction, I have no fear of death. Don't make a threat, I blow that whistle like a ref. People are foul now, watch what you do when you out of bounds. I give them praise when I'm out of town. I hit the booth and devour sound. Nah, yeah, we don't play around, it's a bet, lay it down. If you didn't know me last year, bitch, you know me now. I was trying to give it to you, now I'm going for the crown. You don't wanna hold it down, you don't think about coming to this shit. Come around like I'm trying to get money. When you want with the world, money gotta hunt you down. This is godly, oddly, timely. Find resentment right behind me, find redemption right beside me. If I forget, please remind me.
Hey family, it's your girl Ocean. It's your global cousin, your global auntie, or your global sister. And today I have another video for you guys. And today we are going to talk about father wounds. Before we get into the topic of father wounds, I want to first say that, I have been in toxic relationships throughout my whole first part of my life, and I'm 29 years old. Toxic relationships with family members in my childhood age, and then becoming a teenager, toxic relationships with friends, and then after friends, I had toxic relationships with people I was in relationships with, and throughout all of these relationships, there will always be toxic relationships one after another, and never did I ever seek to speak to anybody about the pain or traumas inflicted on me. I didn't talk to a therapist. When I went to school, they had guidance counselors. When you're in school and you're a child and you act up, a lot of times there's things going on at home, and your teachers will pick up on it and say, wow, this student is such a good person. She's always, she gets her work done, but sometimes she just lashes out, or there must be something going on. There's always an underlying reason why people act the way they act. And so basically, growing up, I never talked to anybody, and there wasn't much people that I can trust neither. And I'm talking about this because I know that I'm not the only one. I know that this topic is relatable. When you're jumping into relationships, toxic after toxic, and then you have nobody to lean on. I said it started from your family being toxic, and then you just grow up and you just keep coming in contact with these people with toxic traits. And people don't even know, people are so toxic that they don't even realize that they're toxic, or what they're doing is toxic, or what they're saying is toxic. You have to point it out, and you have to expose them so that they could understand, this is what you're doing. What you just said to me was rude. What you just did to me was wrong. You have to point it out. Some people, it just bypasses them. They're so in a routine of toxicity, they don't even know what's going on, I remember I was in a relationship with somebody, and they would say, and I would be like, they wouldn't even realize it. Like, you're toxic. I don't like the way you talk to me. And they're like, well, why don't you tell me? Why? And then I would say to myself, why do I have to tell you that you're being toxic to me? Don't you know? Don't you think before you speak? You don't think what you're saying is hurtful? You don't think about what you're saying to somebody before you say it? Why do I have to tell you you're being toxic? You don't know that what you're doing is not nice? What you're saying is harmful or degrading or, demeaning? Some people, they don't they don't comprehend it, you know, and it's an illness. It's a mental illness, you know, and it boils down to it's always an underlining something. People treat you a certain way based on the way they were treated, and they don't know how to positively express how they feel, their emotions, how they feel, what they're thinking. They don't know how to elaborate it. So many of us grow up in families or households where you know, something goes wrong and it stays on the low. You have no place to tell me, you know, you can't voice your opinion. You can't say what you do or don't like, or if something's bother you, you just stay quiet and it goes unheard. So there's all of these things that, like, we have to unlearn and relearn, because all of these things that were conditioned at a young age, the toxic things that were conditioned to think is normal is not normal. And all of that, it has an effect on you as you grow up. If you don't resolve it, you grow up with all of these wounds inside of you, unhealed wounds, or unhealed traumas, unhealed pain, and you carry that with you into your adult life. I'm 29 years old, and you know, I experienced a lot of crazy things for the first half of my life. I consider this, I'm about to be 30 next year, I consider after 30 my second half of my life. And let me tell you, I've been through a lot and I've seen a lot. And for the grace of God, I'm lucky, I'm happy that I'm still here. There's many times that I thought about, you know, just leaving, you know, taking myself out. You know, my children saved me. I have 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old boy, and then I have a baby girl that I just had a few months ago. And both of them have changed my life. You know, my son has changed my life, but my daughter has made me a woman. When I had my son, he changed my life because he gave me a sense of purpose. You know, I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know what I was here for. I was, you know, so many bad things happened to me. I was just like, why am I even here? What am I living for? What is the point of this? All of this pain, why is God putting me through this? And when I had my son, he gave me more reason to live. He said, you know what? I have to live for this little boy. But I was not, the purpose of me being here was not just to live for my son, it was to live for myself and to teach others. Because obviously everything we go through is a learning experience. All lessons are blessings in disguise. And you say to God, why did he put me through all of these things? All of these horrible things happened to me. Why would he allow these things to happen to me? And it's not that he's allowing it to happen to you. It's the choices that you make that put you in certain situations. God tells you, we all have an intuition. Your intuition is your second gut, your second brain. So you have a brain here, and then you have a brain in your stomach. You know, when they say you have that gut feeling, that's your stomach, your gut feeling. The reason why they say gut feeling, or the reason why they say your gut feeling is your second brain, is because your neurotransmitters, which are the messengers, that the cells that give messages throughout your body, right? You would think majority of those are in your brain, but they're not. They're actually in your gut, and they send messages to your brain. So that's why they say your gut feeling. If you have a gut feeling, never ignore it. The thing is, more often than not, we ignore it. We ignore our gut feeling, and that's your intuition. We ignore our intuition. And instead of thinking with our brain, we think with our hearts. We think with our emotions. Think with your emotions. How do you even do that? But we do, you know. Our emotions get the best of us. We're feelings. We're people. We are emotional beings. We have feelings. So, you know, when you love somebody, you do stupid things. When you think you love somebody, you do stupid things. Because love doesn't make you do stupid things. It's just your mind is, you've been programmed and conditioned to think that love is a certain thing, and because you've been taught the wrong things, those can put you in situations that are very damaging. Anyway, the choices that we make often put us in predicaments that are dangerous, but God allows us to go through it so that we can learn from it. And then when we learn from it, only when we learn from it will we not repeat it again. If you don't learn from it, you're going to keep repeating it. So the saying, if you what is the saying? If you touch a stove and it burns you, would you do it again? Some people might have to get burnt a couple times because they don't learn the first time, and that's okay. Life is a life learning journey. You never stop learning to the day that you die. You know what? A person who thinks they know everything is dumb. You don't know everything. You will never know everything. Life is a learning experience. Life learning experience, meaning you're going to be learning to the day that you die, right? So God doesn't put you through anything that you cannot handle. And the reason why he puts you through certain things is so that you can learn from it, so you don't repeat it again. Now, when people are in toxic relationships, right? Like I have been in a lot of toxic relationships, right? Because I lack guidance from people who could give me good advice, or I didn't have the proper support around me, right? So I was in a relationship for it's going on 7 years now, and only 3 years ago did I start healing myself from it all. In order to start healing from it, I had to remove myself from the toxic person I was around, the toxic environment I was around. I had to uproot myself from everything that I knew was toxic and give myself a fresh start in order to start healing, because you cannot heal in the environment where you were broken. A person that broke you will never be able to heal you. So you have to do these things on your own. This is a self thing. And healing is a lifelong journey too. You don't just heal overnight. So you might think you're okay, and then you spaz out one day, or you're screaming and you're crying because things are triggering. Somebody could be having a conversation with you, and okay, here for an example. A few years back, I had got an abortion. And I didn't want to get an abortion, but I felt that I needed to get an abortion because I was in a relationship where I felt I wasn't wanted and that baby wasn't wanted. It was vocalized to me that baby wasn't wanted, right? And I already had my son, and I felt like, I can't do it. I'm already struggling. This is hard as it is. And, it was that toxic, and I just didn't want to bring another baby into that, right? I had seen a couple with a newborn baby, and I cried. I cried like a baby because, it was triggering. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, if I would have kept that baby. Seeing somebody else have a baby, a newborn baby, just moving from the store to their car with a newborn baby, I cried because it was triggering. Something inside of it triggered me. And that's what happens with healing. So you can think you're okay, and then maybe one day something somebody says, or something you see, or something you hear can trigger, and you just melt down. You have a breakdown. And that is necessary. It's necessary to be able to break down and cry and scream if you have to, because that's called self-expression. You need to be able to express yourself and to be able to release those emotions, because if you keep it pent up, you're going to have so much animosity, you're going to have resentment, you're going to have anger, you're going to have bitterness inside of you, you know. Just keeping it in your head, just thinking about it will drive you crazy, you know. Keeping it inside of you, being angry all the time is bad for your heart. It can kill you. Stress, they say stress is the silent killer. So you can be walking around with all of this pent up inside of you, and it can take your life. So it's best to release it. And when you release it, only when you release it do you feel better. My pick-me sleep. Anyway, so when you have it all balled up inside of you, the best thing to do is to release it. And you know, so many of us grow up not releasing it because we have this ego that we have to be tough, that we have to hold it together all the time, and we have to be strong. First of all, crying is not a weakness, and showing your weakness is actually one of the most biggest strengths you can ever have, because it shows vulnerability. The strongest person in the world is vulnerable. They can talk about the things that are bothering them, and even that takes a lot of practice. I was the type of person who was always quiet, and you know, I would have my thoughts basically haunting me, you know. When you have traumatic experiences, I think your brain's defense mechanism to protect you is for you to forget. You try to blank it out of your mind, right? But even though your mind does that, you never truly forget. You're pushing it out of your mind. You're trying to force it out of your mind because it's so painful. The thought is so painful. But you know exactly what took place. You will remember. It will replay in your mind if you think about it. But because you don't want to think about it, your mind is trying to protect you, so it pushes it out, right? It's a defense mechanism. You know, so the thing about it, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is basically healing takes a process. It's a lifelong process. It's not going to happen overnight, and that's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's good to be vulnerable. It's healthy to be vulnerable. Talk to somebody. If you're feeling sad, depressed, talk to somebody. If you don't want to talk to somebody, write it down on paper. You know, write it down on paper. As long as you're releasing it, release it somehow. If you're a private person, write it down and release it. Burn it and let it go to the earth. Go outside, you write your letter, you write down who hurt you, what they did to you, how it affected you. You write it down on a piece of paper and you burn it and you let it go. Because you know what? You don't need closure. You don't need closure from anybody because you know, you can be angry about something and you're never getting an apology. You could want an apology from someone and never get it, but you still need that closure. But you don't need that closure from them. You need that closure for yourself. So what you do is release. That's how you get closure, by forgiving yourself. Say, I was at the wrong place at the wrong time when this took place, and I hated myself for allowing whatever this, that, and the third happened to me. You got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive yourself. Because only when you forgive yourself can you forgive anybody else. And I know in your mind you say, I don't want to forgive them. I hate them. I can't stand that person. But you don't even saying you hate somebody is giving them too much energy. Because, you know, to hate somebody takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of effort. You're angry. You're still holding it in. In order to release it, you have to let go. You have to forgive. Let God. Let go and let God, right? That's what I always say, let go and let God. And that even for me took a lot. Because for a long time, for a few years after certain things happened to me, I was resentful. I had all types of demonic thoughts in my head for retaliation. I wanted to take bodies. You took something from me, I wanted to take something from you. I felt like a part of me died in me. I wanted to take something from you. That's how I was walking around. I was evil. I was bitter because of the pain inflicted on me. But then I had to come to the realization that, it's just like, the saying, you drinking poison hoping that they feel the pain. Nah, they don't care about you. They living their best life, but you're harboring it in. You're making yourself sick just thinking about it. Just let it go. Cause karma, God will spin the block for you and take care of you. You just have to take care of yourself. And I had to, even if it took me to even uproot from one of my where I was born at, my hometown. I had to uproot myself around this toxic bubble. I felt like the town that I was born in was so toxic. I felt like everybody there was mentally sick. I ain't have no friends there. Everybody who was there, who claimed me, they portrayed themselves to be something to me, a friend, a family member, this, that, and the third. They were all, to me, evil. They were all evil to me. They couldn't be trusted. And it was a toxic place. And I uprooted myself and I left that situation. That was the first part of my healing, was uprooting myself and then leaving. And then the second was cutting all contact with these people, changing my number, them not having my address to not be able to pop up at my house, removing certain people off of my social medias, blocking certain people if I had to. I remember my kid's father saying to me, dang, your block list is mad long. Why do you have to do that? Like, why are you doing that? I don't got a block list. I ain't got to block nobody. The reason why I have a block list so long is a form of protection. Like, you're not about to make me feel any type of way by saying that to me. Because basically he was like, try to clown me. Like, oh, your block list mad long. Nah. You can't make me feel no type of way. Because at the end of the day, I'm protecting myself. There's a certain amount of people, there's a body of people who done disrespected me, who discredit me, try to assassinate my character, try to publicly humiliate me, disrespect me, disregard me, all types of things. These people, they don't deserve to be a part of my life. And you know what? Since you ain't a part of my life, you ain't going to be able to look me up on social medias and have a peek in on my life neither. So yeah, I got a body of people that's blocked, and that's where they should be blocked. You don't need to be any part of this. You don't need to be any part of my evolution, of my upcoming. You don't need to be seeing none of it. You don't need to look for me. You don't need to find me. You don't need to come in contact with me. That's why my block list is long. Don't let nobody make you feel in any way to protect yourself. Don't let anybody try to play you and make you feel like, oh, you a punk or you running from something, I'm running from them demons. Because those people on my block list are definitely demonic. They're not God body. They are not rightful souls. They are not nice people. I don't want nothing to do with them, and I don't want them to see me. Boom. That was the second thing I did. My mother and my birth mother, because I have a godmother, and then I have a mother figure. My mother figure, I say there's two different things. My mother figure is the person who basically raised me, who installed certain moral and values inside of me that my birth mother didn't. My birth mother carried me. So, and for the most part, that's all she did. She carried me. She's my mom, but she's not my mother. And I have my godmother. My godmother is in the military, and growing up with her, she also installed certain things into me as well. So, my birth mother and me, our names were very similar. Her name was something, my name was this. And our names were you cannot say her name without saying my name. You couldn't say a part of her name without it rhyming with mine. So when anytime somebody would call me by my name, it would make me cringy, because I would think about my birth mother, all the things that I've been through with her, and all the toxic things that I've been through with her, and it brought pain to me. It made me sad. Then for a while I was just like, don't even call me by my name. I made a short name. I made a short name of it, of my birth name. I made a short name of it. Call me this. After a while I was like, at the end of the day, I'm still running, because that's not my name. So you know what I did? I changed my name. I went to a probate court and I changed my government name. And then they said on the paper, you change your first, your middle, and your last name, because this is the name that my birth mother gave me. But I felt like it did not resonate with me. My last name was her father's last name. I never met him because he died when she was 18. I was born when she was 20. But, even that last name comes from so much pain, because it was the last name of my mother's mother, which is my grandmother, who also was very toxic to me. So anytime that my name was written or said, I would think about these people who inflicted pain on me from a younger age up until my teenage years, because I excluded them out of my life. Once I was an adult and I was able to do something, I made sure that I just totally isolated myself from these people. But yes, I did. I changed my name. And I changed my name to something that resonated with me. So my name is Ocean now. My name is Ocean. Literally pronounced as Ocean. Pacific Atlantic Ocean. That's my name, Ocean. But it's spelled Oshun, as in the West African deity who resembles prosperity, love, peace, happiness. And that's what I felt resonated with me. So my name is very symbolic. It's rooted from pain though. I had to change my name in order to release a part of me that was keeping me in bondage, keeping my mind in bondage. So that's what I did. I went to a probate court and I filed to get my name changed, and I got my name changed. I changed my first, my middle, and my last name. And then my fourth thing was, my fourth thing of my healing process was forgiving everybody who wronged me. Even though I didn't accept the apology, I forgave everybody, and then I said, I'm letting go and I let God. Now, I don't even know where this strength came from, but I know I had to do it because I have a son. I had a son. At the time, I only had a son. I'm a mother to a 4-month-old baby girl now. But at that time, I was just a mother to my son. And I could not live life angry and bitter with all of this stuff inside of me, because it was affecting how I was parenting my child, And in order for you to not repeat, we often say, oh, I don't want to be like my mother. I don't want to be like these people. But if you don't change your mind state, more often than not, unsubconsciously, you start doing the same things that the people's actions that you resent. So I had to let go and release things so that I can have a better bond with my child. And it's been a beautiful thing. It's been a very beautiful thing. Then I was in a relationship with someone who was very toxic to me. And then I had to, everybody says, when you grow up, I grew up without my father. I met my father when I was 13, getting out of the foster home. And that was the last time I met him. That was the first time I met him, was the last time I ever seen him in my life. So 13, boom, that's it. My kid's father had his mom. He had more of his mom than I had my mom. His mom worked a lot. My mom worked a lot too, but my mom has always had mental illness because of her past. So he grew up with his mother, And I grew up with my mother, but we both had different sides of our mothers. He had more of a supportive mother. Mine was not really there mentally. I didn't have my father. He grew up with his father from 13 to about 16, So a good 3 years or maybe 5 years he had his father in his life. Me, I had 1 day with my father, so I didn't know my father at all. He lived with his father at one point, so it's totally different. When me and him got together and we had a child, we said we want to be able to give our child something that we never had. 2 parents in one household, or at least trying to work together as a family so that the children can grow up and see, how it's supposed to be. But, when you're me and him being children who already grew up in a house that's broken, who are we to say that we can raise a child to have a mind state of showing how proper parenting is supposed to be when we never had that for ourselves? Maybe we had our mothers had boyfriends who were not really consistent in and out, or whatever they broke up, or just not consistent. They didn't stick around for whatever reason. When you make bonds with somebody and then it stops, even that affects you. You can grow up with a father figure for 10 years and then your parents break up and then you're angry because it's just like, damn, you broke up with him, but he also broke up with me. As a daughter figure, as a daughter, I'm losing a relationship because you broke up with this dude or this, that, and the third, whatever. But anyway, when you have 2 parents who are toxic, which was my situation because I was toxic. At this point, I was not healed. When I was, this part I'm talking about, I was not healed. I was very toxic. So me and my child's father, we would bicker back and forth. And our child is watching it, So it's just like, it gets to a point where it's unhealthy. And it's just like, you ask the question, do you just stick around and be parents for your kids? Is it, do you stick around and do what's best for your kids just for them to see you guys be parents? Is it really worth it if you guys are going to be toxic? It got to a point where it wasn't worth it because it was toxic. I'd rather be alone and your child see me happy and your child see you happy separately, opposed to us bickering back and forth. So that's what it came to eventually. It took a long time for us to get there. It took us a very long time to get to where we're separated. Once I removed myself from that relationship and healed myself, my children seen, now I can say children because my daughter's here, my children get the best version of me. And it's the most liberating and empowering feeling ever, because I never thought I would make it to this. I'm happy. I can say I'm happy. I have peace, and I have this relationship with my kids, and it's a lot more healthier than it would have been had we stuck together and tried to make something work that was never going to work, So this conversation is about father wounds, and basically father wounds is, what that means is basically you having a void and you're trying to fill it. Broken people try to fill voids because of lack of. So if you don't have a certain, father figure, if you don't have father figures or somebody who can teach you and install in certain morals inside of you, you're going to grow up without them, and you're just going to be trying to figure things out as you go, which is not the way that life should be. You're supposed to have somebody sit down with you who's going to be your accountability partner, tell you what you're doing wrong, not criticize and critique you and belittle you, but tell you what you're doing and uplift you and build you. More often than not, we have people who think that they're helping us, but they're not really constructive. They're more destructive because of their delivery. We gotta watch that. So father wounds is basically going without a father figure. Fathers are so important, you know? Fathers are so important. They are so important. Women, mothers are important too, but fathers are very, 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 very important because they install certain morals. They're supposed to install certain morals into the daughter and the son. And basically, the whole point of this is a lot of the decisions we make and the things that happen to us all boil down to us not having the proper guidance. That's the root cause, not having proper guidance. So Mother's Day just passed, and I have come in contact with some, beautiful people, the dopest people you could ever meet in the world, and I love them. Like, it seems like, soulmates. When you have a soulmate, somebody that you just click with, you can talk to about anything. They're there for you. And I have so many soulmates all around the world. I have a friend that lives, I have friends all over the world that I have never even met. And I love them. We FaceTime each other. I'm the global auntie. Their kids are my nieces and nephews and vice versa. But so I have friends around me, and then I have global friends. And for Mother's Day this year, I started reading. There's this pastor that a virtual pastor that I have, and his name is R.C. Blakes, and I think he's so dope. I love him so much. He's a pastor, but he's a unconventional Christian. He's very different. He's very different, but he's very dope, and he has books. He has amazing books that he writes, and I have a few of them that I have felt just by reading the contents of the book, I've just fallen in love. So I have 3 of his books, and I have 3 workbooks that also come with the books. So you can read the books, and then there's a workbook that you can go along with that will help you pick your brain, and you can write down stuff. It asks you questions, you write down stuff. And it's basically like, like I said, some people don't want to talk to a therapist and you want to write it down. This is something that can help heal you. This is like a stepping stone to healing you. You see where you go wrong, you take accountability for your actions, and you try to better yourself. That's what life is all about, evolving. So there's I have the Queenology book. Let me see. So I have the Queenology book. Dope book. I have not read it yet, but I know it's good because the man is amazing. And the content of the page of each chapter, the description of each chapter, let me tell you, go get it. And then he has the Kingology book. Now I bought the Queenology book for my daughter, so I'm gonna read this book, and I'm gonna go off of that book because I don't have a father figure, and sometimes you have to resource your mentors somewhere else. So Queenology, I'm gonna read that book to install certain things inside of my daughter. And then for the Kingology book, I'm going to read this book to install certain things inside of my son. I'm trying to think. Okay, so my Queenology workbook is in my library downstairs, but I'll show you my Kingology workbook that goes along with the book that I was telling you about. So you have the Kingology book, and then you have the Kingology workbook study guide, and it asks you questions. Amazing. Therapeutic, let me tell you something. Amazing. So it will ask you questions, and as you're reading, it will bring you to different perspectives and have you thinking on a different level. So what I did was, Mother's Day had just passed, and I picked 18 of my girls, whether it's I don't have that many blood family members, but I'm sending it out to at least 4 blood family members, and then the rest of them are friends or people that I have come in contact with that I love dearly. And the book that I'm reading right now is called Father-Daughter Talk. And so I bought 18 of those books, and I'm going to be sending them out to my girls for Mother's Day. Now, mind you, it is May 16th right now. So Mother's Day was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. But to me, every day is Mother's Day. So it doesn't really matter to me. At the end of the day, these books are getting sent out. So what I did was I wrote 18 of my girls. I wrote 18 of my girls love letters. And they're not even, I call them love letters, but I wrote them letters basically, telling them how much I appreciate them, how much I love them. I'm building them up. I'm reminding them of who they are, what they're capable of, and there's positive affirmations inside of my letter and encouragement. And then, so I'm going to send that out with the book. And then I bought myself on my birthday, which was April 1st, I bought myself this necklace. And this necklace is pink rhodochrosite stones. Now, pink rhodochrosite is hard to say it, but I'm sorry. Pink rhodochrosite stones are basically healing stones. They're healing stones for emotional trauma. And let me read what it says. Okay. These gems help promote joy through self-love, forgiveness, and compassion. It has a heart chakra energy that gives strength for emotional healing and deeper connections. So what it does is it brings all inner childhood issues or inner conflicts to the surface so that you can work through them with love. A stone of selfless love, compassion, balance. Yeah, it's beautiful. So anyway, I bought this for myself for my birthday. I bought the girls also rhodochrosite stone bracelets. So they have their book, 18 books, 18 bracelets, healing bracelets. Their love letters, and then some chocolate. So yeah, I'm gonna be putting these together in my pretty my sending bags that I'm gonna be putting this stuff in. But yeah, you know, healing is a lifelong process, and I feel like my purpose in life, the fact that I went through all of those things, wisdom comes through experience. So I've been through a lot of things, and I've learned a lot throughout my journey. And because I've been through these things and I've overcome it, because the things that you go through, your trauma, your pain, your anger, all of these things, they don't define you. They don't define you. These are things that happen to you so that you can learn how to heal from them properly, right? And because I went through these certain things and I pulled myself up out of it, out of the depression. I pulled myself out of the depression. I pulled myself out of a toxic relationship, out of a physical abusive relationship, out of verbal abusive relationships, psychological, mental, all of that. I pulled myself up out of that. Mind you, it took me a good 26 years to do it, because I'm 29 years old now, and only, can I say, between 26 and 29 have I fully healed myself to the point where I'm letting go and I'm good and I can move on with my life healthy and whole. I don't need anybody to fill my cup because my cup is full. I don't need anybody's validation because I have self-love within myself. I love myself. There's nothing you can tell me about me because I know me, and what I think about myself matters most, not what anybody else thinks. So I don't need anybody's validation. I don't seek any of those things because I'm healed and I'm whole, and I know my worth. I know my value. I know what I have to offer. And I have wisdom. I can politic off the things that I've been through. And through my experiences, this is why I share it with you guys, because I know there's people out here who's been through certain things, and maybe they can, maybe they have certain things in common with me, and you know, by hearing it from somebody else, it will make them feel better. I'm here to help people through the things that I've been through. And this is my gift. No, I cannot, I cannot send out gifts Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and your birthday. But one time a year, I want to bless you with something so dear to my heart. R.C. Blakes Jr. is an amazing man. He is my virtual father, and he doesn't even know it that he has mentored me. He doesn't even know it. I love you. If you're watching this, sir, I love you, and I thank you, and I'm going to pray that you're covered, because the devil doesn't like what you're doing, but you keep doing it, and I love you, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you spreading the word to all of the kings and queens so that they can get their mind right, because we need that. More people like him and me to spread his word. I think that I have faith in the generations after us that we can turn this around, because right now everybody's just so messed up. But anyway, I'm doing my part by at least blessing 18 women with this. And after they read the book, maybe they'll pass it on to their kids, or they can spit knowledge to their families. Right now, this is how I'm looking at it. 18 books, I'm blessing 18 families with the word of God, basically, because at the end of the day, this is a pastor who wrote this. So inside of this book, it has, for each chapter, it has Bible scriptures that reflect what he's trying to say to you, the root cause of it all. And I'm going to end this by reading to you guys what the contents of each chapter is saying. Okay? Okay, so part 1. The things every woman should hear from a father. Chapter 1. Your dress code is your personal commercial. Chapter 2. Your value is not determined by a relationship with a man. 3. Never lay your body down for a man who has not laid his life down for you. Number 4. Never be with a man who makes you afraid. Chapter 5. A woman must be prepared to earn her own money. Chapter 6. Most men will say anything for sex. Chapter 7. When a man has a woman's body, he has her soul. Oof, that one right there. Chapter 8. A man will always settle with a woman he respects. Part 2. Let me introduce you to the game. Chapter 9. The games men play. Chapter 10. Most men are actors playing a role. Chapter 11. 3 steps to how a man deceives a woman. And Chapter 12. Relationship games and how they are played. Now this is a book written for fathers. It says the most important conversation in your life that the father should have with his daughter. Now on the back it says, as a father of 3 daughters, The author became extremely concerned about the rapid and constant erosion of female dignity in the society, video vixens, sex tapes, multiple sex partners, etc. Research shows that girls with an unstable father figure are more likely to have unplanned pregnancy, low self-esteem, and be a school dropout and become involved in drugs and alcohol. This book should be read by every father as a no holds barred guide to having a heart-to-heart life-changing talk with their daughters. It should also be placed in the hands of every young woman, even if there is no father figure present in their life. This candid advice will help her become assertive, proactive, productive, and creative as she grows into adulthood. That's father-daughter talk. Now this is Kingology. Kingology. As the world evolves, it seems that the definition of manhood is shifting drastically from classic biblical model. There once was a time when we knew what a man was and what the expectations of manhood were. Men are not sure today. In this book, I define and explore the concept of manhood from a biblical and social perspective. The objective is to enlighten the mind, encourage the heart, and empower the spirit of new generations of men with the wisdom and principles of manhood. When the man sees himself properly, he will adjust his standards and behavior. He will take responsibility and rise to his full potential. Now this is Kingology. I'm going to read you the description of each chapter in this book as well, so that if it is interested to you, you go grab that book from my dad. You go to his website and you go grab his book, and you can also find his books on Amazon. Okay, so chapter 1. The true measure of a king. What actually makes a king? Chapter 2. King consciousness. Manhood is not chronological, it's psychological. Chapter 3. Things that ruin kings. Things that will destroy a man's greatness. Chapter 4. Understanding the tension between kings and queens, the spiritual and social complexes between men and women. Chapter 5. Kings are intentional about relationships. Kings are not random or irresponsible in relationships. Chapter 6. The harmony of kings and queens. How kings and queens find each other and function in sync. Chapter 7. Kings and coins. A king's respect for money. Chapter 8. Kings regulate their emotions. Kings maintain control of their internal stability. And that's what Kingology is about. Just reading those chapters, crazy. I know that I have to read this book from front to back and ingest that in my mind and put that into my son's mind, because I bought this book from my son's father and he said he didn't want to read it. I don't know what it is about men not wanting to take advice from another man, because I believe the book that I bought, I think him just seeing that the book had a black man on it, just getting advice from another man, their ego and their pride, they resent it. No, I don't want to read that book. It bothered me. It really did. But I bought it for him, and when maybe one day he will read it. But this is something that I know until he reads it, these morals will not be installed into my son. So I'm going to have to do that, because I know R.C. Blake's, I can trust him. I trust him. And to have no father figure at all, I will gladly take advice from him. So I'm going to read this book, and I'm going to read these books. I'm going to read these chapters with my son and do the book with him. It says, for a certain age, but I don't put no limitations on my child's intellect. he's able to comprehend what I say, so I can read. At 6 years old, I can start installing these morals into him, or I can break it down in ways that he can better understand it. It's never too early, baby. Kingology. Queenology. Queenology is the girl's version. Okay, let me read this. Queenology. Every woman is born to be a queen. Most women have not been told. The term queenology speaks of the study of queens. Is another conversation that fathers should have with daughters relative to who they are and the true power they possess. Queenology is written to the queen inside of every woman. For every woman is a queen. Most are just unconscious. Unconscious means they're just unaware. All men are kings, they're just unaware. Until you tap into that mind state, you're going to be roaming this world lost. R.C. Blix has intentionally created this document to awaken the unconscious queen, to empower those who are presently cognizant. Don't know what that word is. Gotta look that up. When a woman absorbs the principles of this book, her self-perspective, her worldview, and her future outlook will undergo an amazing metamorphosis. The queen within will begin to emerge. Now let me read the contents of this book for each chapter. So that if you're a queen watching this, maybe you want to get this book. If you're a king, maybe you want to get Kingology, or, if you're, these books, get them all. He has a book called Soul Ties, which I gotta grab that, because soul ties is basically having an attachment to anything that's toxic to you. You think about this person, you move in certain ways because of a certain person. That's a soul tie. You have a soul tie. I gotta get that book too. Get all of his books. Support my daddy. Okay. Queenology has 8 chapters. So, Queenology, the first chapter is called Queens Manage Their Emotions. Chapter 2, Queens Study Kings. Chapter 3, Queens Are Financially Savvy. Chapter 4, Queens Maximize Their Potential. Chapter 5. Did I say 5? Okay, chapter 5. Queens eliminate insecurity and negativity. Chapter 6. Queens possess presence. Chapter 7. Queens only hear kings. Chapter 8. Queens keep a royal circle. Is just because you're saying, oh, I'm a king, I'm a queen, doesn't make you a king and a queen. Basically, the term king and the queen is claiming your royalty, meaning that these principles are in you, that you carry yourself as such. You carry yourself with dignity and self-respect. Just because you said you're a king and you're a queen, if you're disrespectful to yourself and others, you're neither one of that. You're a clown with a crown. And I love that. I love him. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is tomorrow, my son has his swimming lesson. I'm going to get these books, the bracelets, the chocolate, and these letters, and these cards sent out to them. And I'm hoping that, it blesses these 18 families like it has blessed me. I've learned so much. Reading a book is not going to help you if you're not willing to execute your plan for change. You have to actually do the work. You have to do the inner work, and it's going to take you doing the inner work first. You got to heal yourself from certain things. I'm happy to support him, and I want to thank you guys for taking this time out to watch my video. I appreciate you. I love you guys. Know that you are not alone. If any of this resonated with you, if you can tell me in the comments, if you like this video, I would like you to like the video, because it keeps me in the algorithm. keeps me in the YouTube algorithm, which means that this video will be seen by other people like-minded to you. It will be in the suggested search engines. My video will be reached out more if you like. And if you like my page and you like me, the type of person I am, or you're vibing off my energy, subscribe. Come a part of the tribe. I post different videos. There's different playlists on my platform for different type of things that I'm into or I like to talk about. I'm pretty much all over the place. I do not have one topic that I talk about. I'm a mother. I'm a child of God. I'm God-fearing woman. I don't fear nothing else in this world but God, because nobody's in control of nothing. And that's it. And I live in my purpose, and my job here is basically to teach you guys things through my life experience, because I can only speak on the things that I know for sure. So that's why I speak on my life experience, because I've been there, done that. And if I can help somebody pull them up out of darkness, I'm willing to do that, and that's what I'm here for. So again, I love you guys. Thank you for checking out my video, and come back and hit the notification button so that when I post another video, you get that ding and you come through, and we can politic and talk some more. You got people around you who love you and care about you. You're important. You're very important, and we need you here. So become the best version of yourself so that you don't allow other people to destroy you.
This is that flick of wrist. This is that shot that I couldn't miss. This is that pot that you couldn't. This is that one that you couldn't diss. This is that malice. This is that flow you ain't know it's lit. This is that balance. This is that dough you ain't know it's spent. This is that challenge. This is triple-double, no assists. This is going toe-to-toe with bricks. This the temple of the potentness. This ain't wishing for a spot when the door's closed. This is how you open it. If I never win, I bet I won't relent. And if I let you win, I bet you won't forget. Jaguar.